So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is... wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast, and welcome to the latest edition of Creator Spotlight, a brand new series that we are introducing here in the podcast. This will be our second episode, Eric, that we have done, and we are super excited to do that here with a couple of local creators that we have gotten to know here over the past few months. And Eric, I've just been looking so forward to this, and I can't honestly wait to have this conversation and for our listeners to hear it as well.
Yeah, it's been a little bit in the making. You guys have heard us talk about Nakama like obsessively over the past few months. We've been coming to the market. We've been going to the cafe. So many things we're about to get into. But
we were neighbors at Beta Quest.
We were. We were. And one of the things that made us want to start this series, and, you know, we're doing it live in person, which is really, really cool here in Jacksonville, Florida. We really wanted to highlight people that are doing amazing things, amazing individuals that have different talents. We had Matthew Elkins, the voice actor from Blue Lock, on the last episode. We've got Shawn from the Nakama Anime Bar and Cafe here. And then, of course, very sturdy regular, Tom. So feel free, guys, to introduce yourselves, and talk a little bit about just yourselves, and we'll get into all the specifics in a minute.
My name is Shawn Lim. I am the owner of Nakama Anime Bar and Nakama Anime Cafe right next door to us. The bar's been open for roughly 9 months now. It's going pretty well. It's a lot of fun. A lot of cool people coming in and out, and I really appreciate these guys for doing the podcast for us. And here's Tom.
Yep. Tom Pandich. I have been on a podcast called The Greatest Movie Ever for a very, very long time. Another Florida local podcast, as one of the co-hosts, talking about movies, anime, all sorts of things. And I am the number one patron, and if you want to take that title from me, you have to kill me.
Well, listen, we hopefully no killing here. Hopefully we.
For God's sakes, please don't kill me. I'm very weak.
No, we did get to enjoy some wonderful sake, but not that much sake. So let's go ahead and jump into it. You know, the Creator Spotlight series that we've created. And this is going to be something that, you know, we're going to spend some time talking about a few different things. You know, Shawn, you mentioned a little bit about the Nakama Anime Bar, kind of where it started. Why don't we just jump into maybe both of those topics, since we've already started to get into what really inspired this? Right now, we are located in one of the karaoke rooms in the bar. Super cool aesthetic. We actually were customers first.
Back in December.
For
Jordan's birthday. Yeah.
Before we even got to meet you, before we even got to really do a partnership like this. So what inspired all of this from here and next door?
I have an Asian background. My last name's Lim. I spent some time in Malaysia as a kid. Grew up in Asian restaurants. That's my livelihood. That's in my blood, is restaurants. The bar aspect of it is my favorite part, of the industry. I love anime. My wife loves karaoke. We took, everything that I've learned and accumulated from the years and put it together and created this thing. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and I'm super passionate about it and try to share that with people.
What restaurants have you been part of?
So I actually was one of the owners previously of Okinawa. It's a Japanese grill house on Roosevelt. I've opened several restaurants with my dad in Knoxville and Tennessee. He still owns a lot of those restaurants. I actually opened a bar previously in Knoxville too. I had a speakeasy that I was a part of. And I'm self-taught with the craft bartending, but then after I opened my own bar, I worked for a lot of really high-end craft bars, and I was a part of Wasabi and Town Center here in Jacksonville, Florida. I was a part of Crane Ramen on Riverside here in Jacksonville as well. So been doing it for quite a long time. There's numerous other restaurants I've been a part of that I haven't listed too. Yeah. It's just in my blood. I know restaurants, but having a bar, anime bar, it's fun, and I enjoy it, and I try and share that with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's amazing, just being able to come here and enjoy everything that you've put together. One of the things that, and Phil, maybe you could speak a little bit to this, as well as Tom, we come here often. We're not like close to this location. I'm in St. Johns County, so it's a bit of a drive. You're over on Atlantic. But we keep coming here, especially for the events that you have going on. There's so many community-led things that are happening here at Nakama that, we just had to kind of get your name out there, help really grow what you're doing here. You're doing already a fantastic job doing that, but we wanted to be a part of that. And, Phil, what was your impact here being a customer? And now, obviously, we've done a lot more together, but what has it been like for you coming here?
Yeah, and one and one thing that I'm sure we won't be surprised Tom talking about is just the sense of community. Excuse me. Coming in here, and again, Eric, you and I have a familiarity with, Riverside and Jack's Beach. And, while we can have fun down there, it's not necessarily the type of communal vibe that we're looking for right now, in this stage of our life, or not really the like-minded type of people that we're looking for. And that's what is going on here, which is awesome. And Tom, I assume that's what you have seen here just grow from day one as well.
Yeah, I'm very, very close to here in terms of driving distance, so it's very, very nice for me to have this place right around the corner. So it's like, their bartenders here are great. The sense of community here is great. I've met a lot of friends here. Everybody's been very inviting. I have some new lifelong friends that I've met over the past 6-7 months that I consider some of my best friends here. And, it's also the type of thing where it's a karaoke bar, but you don't necessarily have to sing karaoke if you come here. Like, there are plenty of times when it's just, like, pretty chill vibes, good selection of beer, good selection of sake. I educated myself on sake, which is not something that is something I've always been interested in, but have never really had the ability to, like, get into because there's been no place like this. And you go to other restaurants where they're serving sake for 3 times the price of here. Like, the prices are very fair. And it's also, the aesthetic here is, like, the vibes are immaculate here. I love this place for the vibes. Yeah. Like, just coming in here is, like, there are very, very few places like this in Jacksonville. I would say even across all Florida, there are very few places like this that have, like, just the vibes that this place has.
You also don't have to drink alcohol to come hang out.
No, there's plenty of sodas, Japanese sodas, non-alcoholic drinks. And the thing is that you have your Pepsi products, but you also run Stubborn Soda, which is pretty cool. It's like kind of like an independent soda type line. So it's like, again, it has the vibes of this type of place where it's like you're going to get something different here. And it's like, maybe I'm not going to get a Coca-Cola, but maybe I can get like a black cherry Stubborn Soda, for example. And, it being a bar, there are also plenty of good Japanese beers here. A couple American beers, and just plethora of sake.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Shawn, we're going to kind of jump to you about just the obvious anime influence that's here. But some of the cool things that were just mentioned, like the sake, it's not just like a menu. It, like, talks about sake, which I thought was really cool. And we're going to get to the cafe in a second, which we're so excited to go eat. It'll be Phil's first time to go eat there.
I haven't been yet.
And then Shawn watched me put in like 3 separate orders, continuing to order food. So we're gonna get there, the new the cafe next door. But talking about especially the bar aesthetic, you see the manga panels, the lighting in the room, all the posters, all the imagery. Let's talk a little bit about your introduction to anime. So a little throwback to a series that we just closed up, and kind of harping back to what got you into it. And then from that, where have you kind of evolved with anime? So where was that starting point, that origin story? And where are you now? Are you still obsessed with it? Are you still in the mix? Do you stick with the classics? Talk to us a little bit about, your experience with anime.
Definitely. So, like a lot of people, mine started Dragon Ball and Pokemon, and to this day I'm still a huge fan of Pokemon. The anime, I follow it just to keep relevant, but it's not really adult themed anymore. I play Pokemon cards. We run Pokemon League here. I'm still highly involved with Pokemon. Same thing with Dragon Ball too. And then, in the teens with Adult Swim and Cowboy Bebop, that kind of always stuck around with me a lot. And then my early 20s, a lot of working, just full-time into it. And then, I'd watch some here and there. Some One Piece, definitely a big inspiration on this place with the name Nakama and the sense of community and, being more than friends, just to call someone a friend. There's a lot more to that, being good friends. So a huge influence from One Piece. And then One Punch, that's really like, when that came out, One Punch, like, it's so funny. It got me right back into anime. It got me out of, some hard places. So One Punch Man, definitely top favorite. I can put it on any day, and it's hilarious to me. I love it. Sword Art Online introduced me into isekais, so those are top favorite for me also. And then nowadays, the new stuff, I like to stay relevant, like to talk to people that come in here because you get all kinds of people. So even Demon Slayer, like, it's beautiful. It's good to watch.
We were watching Demon Slayer when I came to the cafe. We had the episode on. We got sucked in. Yeah. So I totally agree with that. Yeah. With the anime that's coming out, obviously there's so much going on, but sticking with that intro theme, Tom, let us know a little bit about your introduction as well, and if you had anything to add on as well.
Well, I'm a little older than Shawn, so I started in the VHS days. I'm not that much older, so I didn't start with like Robotech in the 80s or anything like that, but started with like going to Blockbuster and renting tapes and stuff. And it was like, I think the first anime I saw was an old dub of Dragon Ball before it got syndicated, before Z was syndicated, where they had the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball, and I saw this stuff, and it was like wild, and I would catch reruns of Speed Racer on Nickelodeon, and got into it there. And then Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon on USA Network, and Dragon Ball Z on like the local Fox affiliate at 7 a.m. And they get to that damn Frieza saga, and then Goku lands, and it's like, okay, here we go. We're going to fight Frieza finally. And then it just starts all over again. And it's like, when Cartoon Network picked that stuff up, it was like incredible. That it was like, okay, we're finally going to fight Frieza. All these voices are different. Weird. Huh. But yeah, I've been a huge fan of anime 30 years now. Did the whole fan sub thing with first VHS fan subs and then digital fan subs. Have a metric ton of DVDs and now Blu-rays and even a couple 4Ks and things. And I watch old stuff, I watch new stuff. I'm pretty current with a lot of stuff. And the thing here is that Shawn's always running anime in here, so it's like, okay, I know this thing, I don't know this thing, I don't know this thing. Let me ask about what's going on here. And it got to the point where there would be days where, like, every Saturday we would come in and we'd have Chainsaw Man Saturdays. So good. Yeah.
We brought some people that are watching Chainsaw Man for the first time.
Watched it.
Yeah,
We were like,
yeah.
Let's put it on. She's out there watching it right now. She actually just texted me about something she's very upset about in episode 1.
Chainsaw Man,
Very upsetting.
Yeah.
Season 1 has a bunch of bummers in it. Season
wait till
2
what
will
happens
have
next.
so many bummers. Oh my god. Are you current with manga?
I am on volume 10 because I had to take a break.
If I took a break from the manga too. If I said the word snowball fight to you, does it mean anything?
Oh, you might.
Snowball fight?
I wonder if
yeah.
Yeah. I think you're there.
Yeah, I'm there. Oh, yeah, I'm there.
Let's put it this way. Phil gives me so much shit all the time for how much manga I read. Like, I will just go through Shonen Jump, especially.
Like, what are you reading right now?
Kaiju number 8.
Okay.
Kaguya-sama Love is War. Which
Kaguya-sama is great.
Yes!
Yes, I am a huge Kaguya-sama
I just
fan.
want people to watch it so bad.
The thing is that it's one of the few shows that I'm like, you have to watch. I'm not a sub-dub guy, but you have to watch the subtitled version of it because the dub gets something fundamentally wrong. That the narrator in the sub is like straight-laced, like, I'm going to talk, like, this is all very important. I'm going to be the straightest narrator I possibly can be. And the dub makes this horrible choice where it's like, oh, it's a wacky situation. Oh, here we go. Okay, something funny's happening. So yeah, watch the subtitled Kaguya-sama.
Absolutely, and like the manga is so good, and there's so many other ones. I think one that I just started is called like Tenmaku Cinema.
Okay.
And I'm starting the One Piece journey into the manga because
Nice.
I can't quite set aside the time for the anime. And you mentioned like Dragon Ball Z and talking about like the wait and anticipation. The anime for One Piece is very much like that. I'm enjoying it. People told me to wait until like the Alabasta arc to enjoy it. I enjoyed it from the beginning, but it is slow.
My brother is watching One Piece again, and he made it through Water 7, and now he's watching on Netflix. And he's like, yeah, this is great. This is fun. And One Piece, like, I've watched most of One Piece, and the thing about One Piece is that, like, somebody said something like the current arc that they're on in the anime and they finished in the manga, what is it called? Wano,
yeah.
Wano is like longer right now in terms of episodes than all of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, it's a commitment if you want to get into One Piece. And that's one arc. That's not even the entire show. That's one arc. You can watch full-ass shows in the time that would take you to get through the current arc of One Piece.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. And, you know, One Piece is really great. I love it from the start. I've got so much to go. But just what I've already seen has been amazing, you know. And then talking back to Phil, like, he just started back to that original point of the manga. He had to start the manga for Chainsaw Man because he loved it so much. Yeah. Now, when he had to go over chapters of names of people that had been killed, so if you've read the manga, you know what happens. Once he got to about
at Beta Quest,
yeah,
I was like, Eric, what's happening?
He just kept going to the right, and he's like, when does it stop? It's amazing. I can't wait for season 2. To your point,
and then I did buy the manga for Blue Lock, so I did start that.
Yes, and Blue Lock's so good. There's so many shows,
Shout out
right?
to Matthew Elkins.
Yeah, so many shows that we could talk about. Kind of bringing it back to where we are, and like, you know, with Nakama. Shawn, tell us a little bit about the cafe idea next door. So this bar, you know, you talked a little bit about when it started. The cafe just recently started its soft opening, and as I've mentioned, I'm such a huge fan of the food, the environment, the vibe, once again, transferring over there. Can you talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to the idea of a cafe next door? You obviously have a background, but doing a bar and a cafe right next to each other, how'd that happen?
Should we drink to the cafe first?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do that.
Should we drink? The answer's always yes.
The answer's always yes. All right. Here we go.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. Oh, that is so good. It should also be noted that I've never drunk like any of this type of like anything like this until I got here.
Yeah,
absolutely addicting. Yeah. Absolutely addicting. So good. But Shawn, tell us a little bit, now that we've cheered to it, a little bit about what inspired that idea of running a bar and a cafe and how it happened right next door.
We looked out on the space, became available, and, you know, I talked it over with my wife, and it was a no-brainer, you know, to be next door and have that opportunity to provide food for our guests. You know, I see people bringing in food every day, which is allowed. They bring in McDonald's or pizzas and everything, which is fine, but, you know, there's not much around here, and that fits the theme. So if you're here for a cultural experience, you want to stick to that same theme with the food, too. I think it blends very well, and that's what I'm good at. That's what my background is restaurants, and it just kind of was a perfect storm. It worked out, and I'm really excited for it. We still have another week of soft opening, and we're going to do an official grand opening on the 5th and have some fun things coming up. Eventually, we'd like to connect the two also and have where you can just walk right through from the bar into the cafe.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be amazing. By the time this episode releases, I think that will probably have already happened, which is amazing. In addition to the fact that there's a market every single month, which is so crazy. You know, we've had a lot of vendor friends that have been here as well. Joyanne Draws, we'll throw her link in the show notes as well if you like to, you know, get some art. We've definitely shouted her out before. But, you know, Tom, have you been to the cafe? Have you checked that out already?
Have I been to the cafe?
Are you a regular there too? Because that's what's about to happen to me.
Yeah, I'm on a first name basis with the head chef there. So, the thing about the cafe is that it's all authentic Japanese food, so you can get octopus balls, for example, takoyaki, with Japanese mayo and bonito flakes, miso soup, oden, ramen, all sorts of great options there. And relatively affordable too. Like I got a couple of what are you calling them? Yaku, Niku, onigiri, yeah, which are yakiniku is sort of like a sweet like teriyaki sauce, and onigiri is rice balls. So I got that. I got some miso soup. I'm also a vegetarian, so it's like very, very nice to have a lot of different options over there. But there are plenty of there are incredible chicken from what I've heard.
I think is the onigiri over there now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I don't think it was there when I tried it last time. So I'm so excited. See,
Eric's
it's
gonna walk out of this
something
now.
new every single time we get here. Phil, are you? Is there anything you're specifically excited for that you've seen already or that you've heard? Because you already knew. We tried everything. To Tom's point, it's so affordable that you could either get a meal or you could just share with a bunch of people, which I recommend. Bring a bunch of people, get a bunch of food, try one of everything, because you're going to get addicted. But Phil, is there anything you're looking forward to?
Nothing specific, because you guys talked about everything last time you were here, but my daughter went to a sleepover with her friends. She's a teenager, doesn't ever want to hang out with adults, right? She asked, can I come with you to the interview first so I can eat and then you can drop me off? And I was like, no, I'm not doing all that. So sorry, Liz. Well, we'll be back plenty of times. So no, I'm excited to try everything because you guys had to come. You guys came last week. I saw Fast 10, which was also an out-of-body experience.
So some would say that.
Just a totally different one.
Yeah, totally different. But just kind of transitioning into as we talk a little bit more about each other and kind of our experiences. One of the questions I want to pose, and Shawn, you've had time to prepare for this. Tom, you probably have not.
I have.
You have.
He sent me the question.
Good. All right.
Oh,
That's you're an overachiever. So I want to ask if you were to pick 3 characters from anime that you relate to the most. Who would those 3 characters be? So, Shawn, let's go ahead and start with you, and then let's bring it over to Tom.
So I knew the questions ahead of time. I talked with Tom about it. So I love Hunter x Hunter, and I don't go. He's not my favorite character, but he's super positive, and I feel like I relate to him the most. I see the positive in everything. I don't think anything negative of anything or anyone. Everything's positive. So a perfect fit for me. Going Freaks, and then let's see some of the other ones here. Yeah, that was a big one.
That was a big one.
And I'm a huge fan of Hunter x Hunter. That top 10, maybe top 5 for me favorite shows. But man, the third one, that's tough.
That third one's tough?
Yeah, third one's tough.
All right, we're coming back to you, Tom.
Okay.
I think you might have some, but
So
Shawn, we're not
I
gonna let you
gave
get
it a
away
little
with
bit of thought ahead of time. Have you seen the show Bofuri?
I have not, but I have heard great things about it.
Okay, the main character in Maple is named Maple. That's her MMO name. And I'm a big fan of that show. She is just the sweetest person on the planet, and a lot of times she deals with her problems by eating. So she eats monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's I can absolutely relate to that. Beyond that, though, there's another show he brings up, Saitama from One Punch Man. And I'm a big fan of the manga artist's other manga, one's show, Mob Psycho 100.
Yes.
Yeah. So I relate to Mob just because I
good.
like to think I'm an earnest and honest person. I like to think that I see the best in people. And then third one, I guess maybe Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop because
Okay.
I'm too old for this shit.
That makes sense.
And granted, he's only 28, which
Yeah.
is very funny.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I mean, that's a good choice. I've watched Cowboy Bebop recently, so that tracks. That
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah.
I like that. Phil, while we're giving Shawn a chance to figure out his third, I don't know if you prepared for this question, but
I
I'm
did not,
gonna
but-
ask you too.
You've heard me talk about this. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched Odd Taxi. Otokawa, definitely. I definitely mask all my problems and not think about them until it's way too late. So definitely that. Denji, because I'm a huge simp sometimes. That's I can yeah. I didn't want to come out and say he said it, not me. And then if I had a third one. That third one is difficult. God, I just love Reagan. I liked, but
Reagan's great.
I love Reagan.
Best supporting character in any
He
anime.
really is fantastic.
He's
Yeah.
so good. So good.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Reagan.
Yeah.
He's just
That's good. Sean, did you figure out your third?
Let's go. Aaron, Attack on Titan.
Aaron,
There
Attack
you
on
go.
Titan? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of scares me a little bit.
well. Hold on a second.
So this place is gonna burn down just one day. Sean's gonna have enough. He's like, I don't want it. Burn the world.
Just how he's just so caring about the people around him, you know? He's just looking out for them kind of deal. I like that a lot. He
That's
wants, yeah.
Well, we'll just say season 1, season 2.
we can pick
we
and
won't-
choose
we won't-
which
yeah.
Yeah, which
aspects
version?
of the
Yeah,
character.
exactly. That
yeah.
works for me, right? Yeah.
Season 3,
We're not-
Yeah.
We're not quite
Yeah,
rumbling
yeah.
Aaron yet.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But this has been a ton of fun. You know, a lot of the conversations we're having, you know, just talking anime, talking about the great stuff that's happening here. As we're kind of transitioning to the end of our spotlight here, you know, Sean, and Tom too, but Sean, kind of focusing on the event specifically that you have going on, things that are coming up. You talked a little bit about like what to expect with the cafe. This is an opportunity for everybody watching and or listening. You know, what do you have going on? You know, and what are your plans for the future? We've kind of talked about some things that you might be interested in doing. So kind of looking at the rest of 2023 and beyond, you know, what can we expect from Nakama?
We love doing events. We're filled with events. Every week we're doing something. Every Thursday we do anime trivia, which Tom absolutely crushes. It's a lot of fun.
you best not miss.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it teams or is it
Teams,
individual?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a ton of fun. It's awesome. And it's mostly anime trivia. We'll throw in a sports question to throw everyone off every now and then, but it's, I'll say 80-90% anime, right? So a lot of fun knowing that. Wednesday we do Pokemon League, and it's sanctioned by Pokemon.com. So that's a lot of fun. Tuesdays we just started doing Smash tournaments. We'll probably throw in some other games, maybe Mario Kart and maybe some other anime-related fighting games, but Smash Bros, it's a lot of fun. I just found my main character too, so it's Tom's witnessed some of that.
Nice. Okay.
So many more events though. I mean,
First Sunday of the month.
first Sunday of the month is the market, which you guys have mentioned already. We have maybe 12 vendors that come into our small space, but we still make it work, and it's a ton of fun. A lot of cool people come in and do that. Gundam
Day.
the third Sunday of every month. So this is every month we have these things going on. And then we'll throw in, we've done some sake pairing events with my head chef next door, Evan. He's came and catered, and we've done full pairings with sake experts.
Is
and
it like
sake
a
sommeliers.
wine tasting kind of thing? Like,
Yeah.
Like a
pair
sake
food with-
tasting, yeah.
Ooh.
Those are ticketed private events. We have another one probably coming next month. I think we're still working that out.
Do you have to dress up?
You don't. Well, if you want to dress up, like
It's encouraged.
you don't have to dress up for any of those things. It's just usually like show up for them. But every Friday and Saturday, there's a DJ in here every time. Tonight, which doesn't help the listeners right now, but tonight there's an old school versus new school cosplay night.
Nice.
Is happening. But you run cosplay events once a month, some type of cosplay thing. But every Friday and Saturday, there's a DJ. Different people. Satellite Frank is on there. Awesomeness Prime is on there. He's done a bunch of nerd events around here. A couple other guys who pop in every once in a while. So it's a very good time.
Yeah.
And again, you've got the DJ going, playing anime music, video game music, some other stuff occasionally. And then you got karaoke, which is always fun to see somebody get up there and like, should I be nice or should I?
Well, listen.
Well, if you're worried about,
they do their best.
if you don't want to
they
sing in front
do
of
their
everybody,
best at karaoke. And if you don't want to sing in front of everybody, there are private rooms.
of these
We're in
private
one of
rooms
the
that
private
we're in
rooms
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the private room that we're in, there was some people singing from the TV. And
Yeah.
they were awful. They were bad. So if you're
Yeah.
afraid, don't worry. Don't worry about that. But really awesome stuff. You know, Sean, Tom, any other final words? And then Phil, you know, kind of throw anything in there as well about Nakama. Anything you want to say? If somebody hasn't come here, you know, why should they come? And this has been awesome. It's been so much fun being able to do this. But just closing us out, any closing remarks about Nakama, about the podcast interview we've done here, just anything in general?
Just want to let everyone know we're super welcoming environment, very positive, very good vibes. Everyone is welcome, and if this place is for you, if you're about sake or gaming or anime or just Japanese culture, there's something here for you. And if you get it, then you're gonna fall in love with the place. But that's really it. Just it's super welcoming environment. I love it.
One of the things that I think that needs to be emphasized here is that I'm friends with a lot of anime people who don't drink, and even though this is a bar, you do not have to drink here to feel like a part of the community. And you can go play. There's a dedicated N64 hooked up. There's a dedicated Switch hooked up. Sean's got a couple other TVs he rolls out on occasion for Smash nights and things like that. So it's important to think that even though this is a bar, there are so many things going on that aren't like typical bar things. There's trivia where like one of my best friends in the world doesn't drink at all, and he comes out for trivia and has a great time. There's karaoke at any time. You can just go up to the stage even if you don't want to reserve a private room and just sing your heart out. Smash. There's N64 where you can play like old school Pokemon Stadium or Super Mario 64 and all that stuff. There's an arcade machine. He has the JoJo's Fighting Machine, the old 2D Capcom fighter, which takes quarters. And Pokemon League, all sorts of things. There's always something to do here. And there's actually, even if you don't want to buy a drink or anything like that, there's a pretty good selection of merch here that's anime merch if you want to buy stuff. Yeah.
Like, you walk in, it's right there before you even get to the bar, which is awesome.
Yeah, and Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, all sorts of card games, some D&D miniatures, all sorts of stuff. So there's a good selection of stuff here that if you want to do something like that, it's a perfect place. They have board games. We never talk about the board games in here. Like, people come in, set up, and they're like, okay, I'm going to get a Ramune, and I'm going to play Magic for the next 3 hours. I'm going to get a Ramune, and I'm going to play Cards Against Humanity for the next 2 hours and hang out. It's a good place to come and just hang out. And again, the vibes are immaculate here.
Like Tom said, don't let the word bar scare you. If you don't drink, it's totally fine. As we pour another shot, don't be scared by the word bar. And one, I guess, just to kind of to wrap this up here with you guys, and just to say for Shawn and as well as you, Tom, just one of the things that draws us so much to all these conventions that we have gotten to go to and now we get to work to is a lot of people that are into this fandom. It's really the only location where they feel like they get to be themselves. They're around like-minded people. They get to hang out with their friends. And now there is a dedicated place for that here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for creating the space and, like I said, a safe space. And, letting us meet people, every single time we come here. And Tom, who we got to meet here today.
Yeah, I'll just be passed out on the floor most days.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, we're just stepping
over Tom.
Hey, Tom.
As the only person here who is not only doing the shots of sake, but also drinking beer during this interview.
Yeah.
You guys are drinking waters. It's fine. I'm just a degenerate.
No, we're going to be having
All right, well,
afterwards.
again, post-interview. That's why you're the professionals. I'm just sort of, I'm the guest. I know where I'm
Well, listen, this was a blast. Really, really enjoyed this. We're going to get ready to take a shot here, and then we are going to go into our closing. So let's go ahead here. One more for Nakama. Kanpai.
That's really good.
Worth the price of admission, I gotta say. Phil, go ahead and start closing us out. Please don't say that, because I'm nervous the entire time we do this. Go.
No, guys, thank you so much again for joining us here, and then we are enjoying the hell out of this creator spotlight. Can't wait to bring you more. If you are brand new to the podcast and you'd like to find the rest of our episodes as well as all of our social media pages, make sure you check the show notes in the link of this episode, as well as if you are listening on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. It is one of the best ways you can support the show. And all links for Nakama will also be in the show notes for this episode. And if you find yourself wanting to support the show a little bit more, Eric will let you know how to do that.
Yeah, so in addition to our Buzzsprout page where you can just leave a subscription payment, you can also donate to us on Patreon and get exclusive content, such as the video version of this episode, in addition to early access, and you'll be able to support us like some of our patrons, named Briar, who's our favorite person
What up,
on
Briar?
the podcast, in
Who's
addition to
been
our
here,
other
I believe.
supporters.
Yeah. He's been here a couple times.
He has. If he
Yeah.
was closer, he would also be here
He lives in
as a
Georgia
regular.
and comes down here.
Should tell you everything
Great.
you need to know.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, gentlemen, thank you so much for giving us your time. Again, such a great vibe here. You don't want to miss it. Something's always going on at Nakama and on the Wait For It podcast. So with that being said, don't forget we release new episodes every Monday and Wednesday, and all you have to do is wait for it.
So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.